The God source fields are, again, pure potential and waiting, but there's nothingness within them. Nothing's happening. So there's actually an excitement to thinking into creation as a particle of self, that we could think of all of creation in all dimensions, realms, realities, universes, or on the cosmea as a totality, a whole, is just multiplicities of infinite expressions of source observing itself. Well, why? Why do you like to do what you do? Why would you plant a flower in a garden? Why would you want to love on a pet? Why would you climb a mountain or want to go swimming in an ocean? Why do you want to do any of the things that bring you joy or happiness? It, the experience, the feelings, the excitement, the beingness. So Source, in a huge way, enjoys even the Maya, the game, the drama, all of the creation, because there's something going on. And remember, as artificial intelligence, because we will talk on this, mimics things, well, then isn't that the same thing as watching a television show or a movie or getting pulled into a video game? You know you're watching something, but people love it. They love to read a book. They love to hear a story. They love, like, tell me the story. Why? Because it's fun for the imagination to dance out in these ways and imagine these worlds, these realms, these realities. And that's exactly what the eternal infinite source field is doing through the entire cosmia of flowering, is imagining all the most wild and incredible imaginations and stories that you can think of. Now, within the eternal breath in the field, there is a desire within those emanations and playing within it to keep it going, right? But let's kind of bring this back into earth, because we know, well, wait, well, why is there so much distortion and chaos in earth? Well, remember, because we're part of the God spark, so you're part of God's spark, creating an imagination in this reality. And how bought into the drama are you? So when the initial starting to kind of observe the more complex created forms in creation started to happen, the animals, the plants, the beings in creation started to happen, there was a lot of intrigue and excitement from the higher source fields to experience it. Yeah, by binding within that, there was many times kind of the identification. Remember what happens when we step out and when we think in the levels of consciousness and we become further and further and further individuated. We start to become possessive of the identity. We grab it. We don't want to let it go. We don't want to let it go. We don't want to let go of that identity, that form, that race, that culture, that structure. And this happens. And so within there, this is where maybe some of the first race wars have started, right? Way out in Lyra with all the expressions of the different creations. So we have different races within there as they started to split away from creating in a way that constantly returned to the eternal source. As some started to get embedded with the over self-identification of the form, to identify more with the form than the totality of who you are, I'm just going to say this in short, means you are turning away from God. And that's all we're doing in this human life, by the way. This is part of the ascension path that we're on. We have been so focused most lifetimes on our form, our life, our drama, the craziness that's happening on planet Earth, and all of these different things that are going. And so we've been so hyper focused on the form. And then we're like, oh, but God doesn't love me. How come God lets all of this happen? Why are you letting this happen? God, why are you letting this happen? And we forgot to turn back to God, to our true form. And then remember, the songs come. As soon as we start to get that inkling, the songs come and we start to face it and we start to go back into it and we start to go, yeah. And as it happens, we start to focus in on that more and more. And that is where we start to catch the noise. So let's talk about the noise in the astral realm.